nth magical number. It is challenge number 878 on leetcode.com. We are given with three numbers a, b, and n. We are required to find nth positive integer which is divisible by a or b or both. So what do we mean by that? Let us see. So for example, a is 2, b is 6, and n is 10. In the list of integers which are divisible by a or b or both. So in this case, list of integers which are divisible by 2 or 6 or both of them, we have to return the nth number. In this case, it is going to be 10th number. So let us create the list of integers which are divisible by 2 and sort them. So among 2 and 6, 2 is the number which is minimum. 2 is the lower number. So as a result, we multiply 2 by 10 and the number that we'll get is going to be 20. So we know for sure that whatever number that we are going to count that is going to be divisible by 2 is at least going to be in the range of 2 to 2 multiplied by 10, that is 20. So that is the reason we take this range of 2 to 20. So we make a list of numbers which are divisible by 2. So 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, then 4, 6, 8, all the way to 20. And because we know that the list is going to be until 20 only, we take the second number and we create a list of numbers which are divisible by 6 and they are less than 20 again. So that list is going to be 6, 12, and 18. Now, what the question asks, we need to find out the 10th number of the list that is we are going to get by merging these two lists. So this is the list that comes as a merger of these two lists in sorted order, and then we count 10 numbers in this list, and that is going to be 20. So 20 is our answer here. Let us take another example. So in this case, on the place of 6, I have taken 5. That means in this list, the list of 2 is still going to remain the same, but list of 5 will slightly differ this time. So we have 5, 10, 15 and 20 as the 4 numbers which are divisible by 5 and which are less than 20. Now when we create a sorted list of these two that we get after the merger of this list and this list is given here. Now you can see there are numbers which are common between the two. For example, there is 10 that is common, and then there is 20 that is common. 5 and 15 are two additional numbers that this list brings. So as a result, we need to count the 10th number in this merger, in this list that we get as a merger, and the 10th number is 16. So 16 is going to be our answer. Just one more example, just for the sake of it. So one number is 2 and the other number is 22, and n is given as 10. So again, we take the number which is the minimum of 2, and that is 2. We multiply it by 10 and we get 20. So we know for sure that our number is going to be present in the range of 2 to 10. We create this range 2 to 10, and because 22 is bigger than 20, we don't really need to put any list here. So 2 contains the whole list, and the last digit of this list, last number of this list, is going to be our answer. I hope you are getting some intuition where we are going with it. Before coming to the final solution, I would like to clarify one concept here, which is definitely needed in order to understand the solution fully well. So let's say that we want to find count of numbers which are less than or equal to a given number n and divisible by a given number x. In such a case, we can find that count by dividing n by x, and that is an integer division. Let us take an example to understand this concept. Let's say that n is 20 and we are required to find all the numbers which are less than or equal to 20 and they are divisible by 3. So let us create this list: 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, which we get when we multiply 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until the multiplication goes beyond 20. And that is another way to say that this count is equal to 20 divided by 3, right? Let us take two numbers on the place of just one number this time. Earlier we had x as 3. This time we are going to take x1 as 2 and x2 as 3. So if we wanted to calculate the number of integers which are divisible by 3 and they are less than 20, then our answer is going to be 6. If we want to calculate the number of integers which are divisible by 20 and divisible by 2 and which are less than or equal to 20, then our answer is going to be 10. What if we wanted to calculate numbers which are divisible by both x or x2 or both of them at the same time? Which means there could be numbers which are only divisible by 2. There are numbers which are only divisible by 3. And then there could be some numbers which are divisible by both of them. For example, in this list, you can see 6 can be divided by 3 and 2, both of them. 12 can be divided by 3 and 2, both of them. And similarly, 18 can be divided by 3 and 2. So what is going to be our final list? The final list of numbers which are divisible by x1 or x2 or x1 and x2 both. So that number is going to be n divided by x1, and this is an integer division that we are talking about, which means we take away anything that is coming after decimal point. So n divided by x1 plus n divided by x2, and from it we'll also need to subtract the numbers which are common between the two lists. And what are those numbers? They are 6, 12 and 18. And if you notice them well, they are some special numbers and we can recognize them. How? Let us see. So we need to count common numbers between these two lists, and we have decided that they are going to be 6, 12 and 18. We have reduced this. So if you notice them well, they are nothing but multiples of 6. And what is 6 here? 6 is the least common multiple of 2 and 3 both. That means if you want a number that is going to be multiple of 2 and that is going to be multiple of 3, we create a list, and out of them 6 is the smallest number. So the count of such numbers is going to be n divided by LCM. So let's see this again. So n in our case is 20. So 20 divided by 2 plus 20 divided by 3 minus 20 divided by 6. And that is going to be the answer of this question. Now, looking at all of this, we can have this intuition that we might have a monotonic function that exists for each number in this list. So for example, let us take this list. Can I count the number of elements which are divisible by the given numbers. So in our case, it is going to be 2 and 5. So for any number in this range, I can always have any number present that is divisible by, for any number, we can always count the number of elements which are divisible by 2 or divisible by 5 or which are divisible by both of them. So what we need to do is we need to find for each number in this range whether that is greater than or equal to or less than n. N is the number that we need to find out. So if you remember the question, in the question it was said that we are given with 2 and 5 and we need to find 10th integer in the list of numbers which are divisible by 2 or 5 or both of them. So this looks like it can be solved using binary search because there exists a monotonic function that we can solve using binary search. So how to go about binary search? This is the typical code that I use when I solve some questions using binary search. Here we take a low range and a high range. And in this particular template, low is always going to point to a number that is going to give us incorrect answer. So see, there is this condition, and whenever it is not favoring this condition, then we assign low to it. That means low is always going to contain the incorrect answer, while high is always going to contain the correct answer or the answer that satisfies this condition. So at the end of this binary search, we'll get a number that is smallest in the range of all the numbers that satisfy this condition. So that will be our answer. So let us start with this question. We are given with 2 and 5 and we need to find out the 10th integer. 10th integer such that which is divisible in the list of all the integers which are divisible by 2 and 5 both. So I would initialize low and high both. High is going to be 20 while low is going to be 2. In fact, in this case what I would do is that I would initialize 2 as 2 minus 1 because even 2 could be our possible answer, we don't know yet. But if I take 2 minus 1, we are sure that low is never going to contain the correct answer. So I take low as 1 while I take high as 20 and then we calculate mid. Mid is going to be low plus high divided by 2. So in this case 1 plus 20, that is 21 divided by 11. So we get 20 plus 1 divided by 2. So we get 10. So our mid is going to be 10. Then we count all the numbers which are less than or equal to our mid. That is going to be 10 here. So this function get count of a, b, b, mid, and that is greater than or equal to n, that gets us whether the count of all the integers in this range is greater than or equal to n or not. And this is the definition of get count. And this is this expression we have already discussed in the previous section. So in this example, just a second, let me clear it. Yeah. So it is going to be 10 by 2 plus 10 by 5. 10 by 2 is going to be 5 plus 10 by 5 is going to be 2 minus LCM in between a and b. So n divided by, so n is 10 again. And what is the LCM of 2 and 5? It is 10. So we get 1 from this. 5 plus 1 is 6. Is 6 greater than or equal to n? N is 10 for us. No, it is not. Which means we can assign low, we can assign mid to low. What was our mid? 10. And what is going to be the new low? That is going to be 10. So now what we are trying to say is that our answer lies in this range, 10 and 20, right? So let us quickly fix that. Low and mid. So our new low is 10, and what is going to be our next mid? It is going to be 15 from this calculation. Now count of numbers which are less than or equal to. In this case, it is going to be 15, right? So 15 divided by 2, 15 divided by 5, and minus 15 divided by 10. So our answer would be 2. What do we get? We get 7 here. In this case, we get 3 here, minus 1. 7 plus 3 is 10, minus 1 is 9. Is 9 greater than equal to 10? It is not. So again, we go and change our low. And our low becomes 15. 15 plus 20 divided by 2, and this time we are going to get 17 as our mid. So it is going to be 17 this time. 17 divided by 2, 17 divided by 5, and here it is going to be 17 again. So what do we get here? 8 plus 17 divided by 5, 3, minus 1 again. 11 minus 1, 10. Is 10 greater than equal to 10? Yes, it is. That means this time we know that we can reassign high to the new mid, and mid is 17. So our answer is going to lie between 17 and 15. So somewhere here 15, somewhere here is 17. 15 and 17. Let's quickly change that. So 17, and our new mid is going to be 16 this time. New mid is going to be 16. So 16 divided by 2, 16 divided by 5, 16 divided by 10. And the answer is going to be 8 plus 3 minus 1. That is 10. Is 10 greater than equal to 10? Yes. That means our new high could be reassigned to the current mid, and the current mid is 16. So let us reassign high to 16. 16. And this time, as you see, 15 plus 1 is going to be 16, which is actually equal to high, which means our while condition doesn't satisfy anymore. So we have to go out of this loop, and when we go out of this loop, our answer is high. Whatever is present in high, that is going to be our answer. So 16 is our answer in this case. So this is the whole binary search explained here. I think this is a good time, and we can go to our coding table and start coding the solution. This is going to be a binary search based solution, which means we'll be needing two values, one for low and the other one for high. So let us initialize our low and high, both of them. Our low is going to be the minimum value between A and B. So math.min between A and B minus 1. And our high value is going to be whatever the minimum value is. So that is math.min A comma B, and that would be multiplied by n. So this is our high value. Now in the while loop of binary search, we are going to use low plus 1 less than high as our condition. This means at the end of our binary search loop, low and high will be the only two elements left. So when low is just less than high, that is exactly when the condition ends. Let us find out what the mid value is going to be. It is low plus math.floor high minus low divided by 2. Now we need to calculate numbers which are less than or equal to mid, that is divisible by A or B, right? So let us find out the count first. So count is going to be math.floor of mid divided by A. That is first number we got. In the earlier discussion, A was actually x1, n divided by x1. So it is exactly the same thing. And then math.floor mid divided by B. And now we'll be needing access to LCM. So it is going to be something like math.floor and then mid divided by LCM. But we don't have LCM yet. So let us find out what the value of LCM is going to be. So LCM can be found out using the greatest common divisor. So the way that we can find out LCM is going to be A multiplied B divided by greatest common divisor. So that is the formula to find out LCM. And that means we'll need to have access to GCD first. So what is GCD? GCD we can calculate using another function that we are going to define just now. So there is a Euclid's theorem, Euclid's algorithm that gives us GCD. We are going to define a function called as get GCD here with A and B two values. So the algorithm says if B, the second value, if that is equal to 0, then our answer is A. So if B is 0, then our answer is A. But if B is not 0, then we make a recursive call back to GCD and return that. And now the parameters are going to be B, comma A modulus B. So how to find out GCD and why this formula actually works is out of scope of this particular question. Maybe we could have another video where we can only find out the value of GCD. But for now, I think this should be sufficient. So now that we have found out GCD here, GCD gets assigned here, and then using GCD we get access to LCM. And now that we have LCM, we have the value of count as well. So now the conditional comes where we see if count is greater than or equal to n. If count is greater than equal to n, then our new range becomes bounded by mid on the higher side. And if count is less than n, then our range is bounded by low on the lower side. Mid becomes the new low. At the end of this question, when we exit the while loop, we need to return high. The question says that since the answer may be very large, we need to return modulo with this number. So let's take this number initially. So this is going to be, I'll call it m, and m is defined as math dot power 10, 9 plus 7. So I'll take a modulus with m. Let's try and run this code. This seems to be working well. Let's try the example cases. It seems like there is some issue. Okay, found it. So this should be minus here. And then if we run, I guess it would work. Yes, it does. Let's submit it. Right, so seems like a good answer. Thanks a lot for staying with me until this point. and stay tuned.